But thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy God. The Lord thy God hath chosen thee to be a special people unto himself, above all people that are upon the face of the earth. The Lord did not set his love upon you, nor choose you, because ye were more in number than any people, for ye were the fewest of all people. But because the Lord loved you, and because ye would keep the oath which he had sworn unto your fathers, hath the Lord brought you out with a mighty hand, and redeemed you out of the house of bondmen, from the hand of Pharaoh king of Egypt. Know therefore that the Lord thy God, he is God, the faithful God, which keepeth covenant and mercy with them that love him and keep his commandments to 1,000 generations, and repayeth them that hate him to their face, to destroy them. He will not be slack to him that hateth him. He will repay him to his face. Thou shalt therefore keep the commandments and the statutes and the judgments which I command thee this day to do them. Wherefore it shall come to pass, if ye hearken to these judgments, and keep and do them, that the Lord thy God shall keep unto thee the covenant, and the mercy which he sware unto thy fathers. And he will love thee, and bless thee, and multiply thee. He will also bless the fruit of thy womb, and the fruit of thy land, thy corn, and thy wine, and thine oil, the increase of thy kine, and the flocks of thy sheep, in the land which he sware unto thy fathers to give thee. Thou shalt be blessed above all people. There shall not be male or female barren among you, or among your cattle. And the Lord will take away from thee all sickness, and will put none of the evil diseases of Egypt, which thou knowest, upon thee, but will lay them upon all them that hate thee. And thou shalt consume all the people which the Lord thy God shall deliver thee. Thine eye shall have no pity upon them, neither shalt thou serve their gods, for that will be a snare unto thee. If thou shalt say in thine heart, These nations are more than I, how can I dispossess them? Thou shalt not be afraid of them, but shalt well remember what the Lord thy God did unto Pharaoh and unto all Egypt, the great temptations which thine eyes saw, and the signs and the wonders and the mighty hand, and the stretched out arm whereby the Lord thy God brought thee out. So shall the Lord thy God do unto all the people of whom thou art afraid.
All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I would like to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakwadash. Double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS who rule well, teach well, being great examples to his younger brothers. And peace and blessings and salutations to the hopeful elect out there pushing his word and truth and in sincerity across the four winds in the name of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. Pushing to get up out of here. Shalom to the hopeful elect, the believers, the listeners whom have came back to the obedience of the scriptures through faith. Thank you, Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. All right, and what I want to get into today, going into a lesson entitled "They Made No Account of His Labor." Okay, and they, this society ruled by Esau, they never give the credit, okay, of the accomplishments of us as a people. The accomplishments of the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, men and women, throughout history, and a lot of it, dealing with the men, but you had, a lot of our women, that did things too, that was inventors, that had particular, achievements, within society, with mainly the Israelite men, under Esau, Edom, that's a thing that's, pretty much crossed out. That's why you have a whole period called the Dark Ages, when Jake was ruling. But Esau just says that there was a time of no, real development in the earth. Everything was stagnant. He makes it seem as if nothing was happening when he wasn't in power. And it wasn't until the Renaissance period where things, inventions and, but really, when you go into the Renaissance period, that was just him bringing his shit back to the forefront. his medicine and his law and his styles of governments and particular things. And even in that, okay, this devil, incorporated a lot of the order and structure that Jake had established. All right. And we hear a lot about the Moors, which I was watching a documentary on the Moors, which I got a video dealing with that. I just want to play a little bit of it that Jake was going into, the achievements, and the contributions that the Moors made to a lot of civilization, you know, which we go, into the Romans all the time, which Rome did have particular things, engineering feats, and particular things, but there's a lot of Jake, all right, civilizations, that contribute, to modern governments, okay, modern engineering, modern medicine, okay, when you really get into these things. So I just want to go into, just go into this video, get a few precepts, because at the end of the day, the Israelite man, all right, and the Israelite woman, all right, is the most quality spirit in the earth, the most quality people in the earth that possess the most quality spirit because of who we are, the sons and daughters of Yahweh Bashem Shai. Now, even though, our people have been brought low, all right, and we're worse than we ever been, okay, because you really go into from the 60s to now, with the enchantments put on our people, to where our people became extremely degenerate, because the way that the majority of our people are now, that's not their natural way. The way that the men and women are amongst our people now, that's not the natural way that we are as a people. Okay. And that's why even when you go even 80, 100 years ago, you see a more authentic, Israelite, even, 70, 70, 60 years ago, there was a more authentic Israel, just how we were by nature, a compassionate people and a very creative people. The men were very skillful. The women were very nourishing. Okay. When it came to holding down the house, all right. The men was very skillful when it came to building and inventing. Okay. But our people have been dumbed down, with these enchantments, especially post, crack epidemic. You have a very low quality, Israelite, okay, that has been produced, from the 60s era, from feminism, the crack era, to the music, entertainment, okay, and to the rest of these drugs, that have been popularized amongst our people. You see Jake in a degenerate state, okay, but that's not us in our natural state. And that's why the beautiful thing of coming to this truth, man, we come into who we truly are, who we naturally are as a people under Yahweh Bashem Al Shai, So let's go here. I want to get this real quick, get a couple of precepts, and then we'll go into a few of these videos. So let's go here. This is the book of Lamentations, chapter 4, verse 1. It says, how's the gold become dim? How's the most fine gold changed? The stones of the sanctuary are poured out in the top of every street. The precious sons of Zion, comparable to fine gold, how are they esteemed as earthen pitchers, the work of the hands of a potter? Okay, and you have to look at the fall, and to know how far we fell, you have to know where we come from, man. Okay, we ran empires, King David, King Solomon, and even when we wasn't the superpower of the earth, you had Israelite men that was in high office, even in other nations' empires, man. Okay, all of the Syrian empire. Read the book of Tobit. Tobit was in the courts of the king. Okay, Daniel, he was in the courts of a king. He was pretty much the hand of a king. Okay, for decades, man. From the Babylonian Empire going into the Medo-Persian Empire. Okay, you look at Joseph, second in command in Egypt. Okay, and those are just the most notables we get into in the scriptures. All right, Nehemiah the cupbearer. You could tell he was beloved. By the king, the Medo-Persian king of the time. I believe it was Darius the second. Okay, but in all be all All right. How do we go from men of such high quality and such status to street niggas, man? Okay. To crash outs. You see? And you go into the enchantments, the psychological, the curses. Okay. Then Esau amplified the curses with his enchantments. Okay. And now you see the degenerate, okay, that we see today. And you keep reading. It says, even the sea monster draw out the breast. They give suck to their young ones. The daughters of my people is become cruel like the ostrich, all right, in the wilderness, man. Okay. Speaking of, the women, all right, of our people, man. Okay. Because some of the worst mothers on earth, all right, are absolutely the nigga woman. Okay. She's in first place, absolutely, man. The majority of them, man. Okay. And you look at the news and you see, okay, just Eve is just a terror to her own seed. Okay. If they make it out the womb. Okay. The living conditions that these children come into. Okay. What they're exposed to, the treatment of them, just a toxic environment. Or Eve, she'll delete her children, man. Leave the children to go on vacation, man. Cruel as hell. Okay. But you had during the time of King Solomon, all right, that famous case that was brought before him, these two harlots, okay, where had a matter, one harlot, she pretty much laid on a child and killed them. Okay, so she took the other woman child, all right, and pretended like it was hers. Okay. And when it was brought before King Solomon, and he, all right, manipulate, because he knew the psychology of people, psychology, the different, he was a wise king, so he knew the psychology between the mother, all right, and the child, and the woman is caring and nurturing because it's very vital, during that stage of a child life, that the mother is very tentative, to a child. So she has, a very tedious care for that child in its survival. Okay. So when King Solomon proposed of cutting the child in half, the real mother, would rather see the child live than anything. So the woman that was willing to allow, the other woman to keep the child, King Solomon knew there was a mother. He knew that there was those mother instincts kicking in for that child. So even harlots, all right, were caring for their children during the time of King Solomon, man. Okay, but you look at the condition of our people today, all right, it's the absolute worst of the worst. Okay, but it just shows how far we fell. But I wanted to go into a little history. I got a documentary on the end of a documentary. Like I said, I'll post the clip. So this goes into the contributions of the Moors, because even when you look at Europe, all right, a lot of that, a lot of things that are prominent in Europe, okay, came from the Moorish Empire, which was Jake. Okay. Now I'll put the link, and hopefully I post this whole video on GMS Historical Breakdown channel. But I'll put the link here. You want to watch the whole video. But I'm gonna go to the end of it, get to the point. All right, and he's gonna go into the Moors' influence, on different empires and society, that will come after. Okay. So
even further by demanding that other Moroccan ethnic groups surrender their weapons and horses to his all-black Moorish army. But let's know about the time when Moors ruled over Spain independently. It's less known that the Moors ruled Spain and parts of Europe from 711 to around 1492, bringing immense knowledge and advancements that continue to impact Europe even today. The Moors introduced many advancements to Europe, particularly in the sciences. These scientific achievements brought positive changes to the region during a challenging period in Europe's history. Their contributions spanned various fields such as astronomy, philosophy, mathematics, architecture, and medicine. They also introduced new technologies and a numbering system. One remarkable example of Moorish architectural achievement is the Alhambra in Granada, Spain. This impressive structure, which still stands today, showcases their mastery of geometry and ratios in its design and construction. Every aspect of the building, from the foundation to the wall art, follows a single ratio, creating a sense of perfection. The Moors were also renowned for their expertise in medicine. They made remarkable progress in this field and surpassed the Greek-trained physicians of Persia, Nestorians, and other Islamic nations.
All right, and said it surpassed the Greek, okay, the Greek-trained physicians. Okay, what you go into the Greek, a lot of it is based on, all right, witchcraft, man. Okay, that's what's brought today. That's why you got the Asclepius, if I'm saying it right. All right, that snake that you see, all right, wrapped around the cross with a lot of these different medical symbols, hospitals. All right, which it goes back to the Greco-Roman, all right, medicine, man. All right, which is part of the Renaissance, which is based on a lot of witchcraft. Okay, but like Jake, was into the actual, herbs and the actual, curing the source of the problem, not just treating symptoms. Okay, so let's play that.
To the wall art follows a single ratio, creating a sense of perfection. The Moors were also renowned for their expertise in medicine. They made remarkable progress in this field and surpassed the Greek-trained physicians of Persia, Nestorians, and other Islamic nations. Moorish medicine was based on experimentation, reasoning, and observation. Moorish physicians utilized drugs, surgery, and categorized medicine. Their medical profession was highly technical, with extensive training and a code of conduct. In contrast, Europe relied on a medical system based on superstition, relics, worship, and prayer. Even after the Moors were largely driven out of Europe, less known and hidden Black history, culture, arts, and lost civilization still stands today, showcases their mastery of geometry and ratios in its design and construction. Every aspect of the building, from the foundation to the wall art, follows a single ratio, creating a sense of perfection. The Moors were also renowned for their expertise in medicine. They made remarkable progress in this field and surpassed the Greek-trained physicians of Persia, Nestorians, and other Islamic nations. Moorish medicine was based on experimentation, reasoning, and observation. Moorish physicians utilized drugs, surgery, and categorized medicine. Their medical profession was highly technical, with extensive training and a code of conduct. In contrast, Europe relied on a medical system based on superstition, relics, worship, and prayer. Even after the Moors were largely driven out of Europe, European medical schools were built on Moorish foundations, techniques, and research. The intellectual achievements of the Moors had a profound and lasting effect. Education was widespread in Moorish Spain, while in Christian Europe, the majority of the population was illiterate, including kings. The Moors had 17 universities in cities like Almeria, Cordova, Granada, Jaén, Malaga, Seville, and Toledo. Universities in Paris and Oxford were established after scholars visited Moorish Spain. This system of education brought about the European Renaissance and lifted the continent out of 1,000 years of intellectual and technical stagnation during the Middle Ages. The contributions of the Moors and Islamic societies of old in Spain deserve recognition and appreciation, especially in the fields of medicine and education. They brought enlightenment and progress to Europe, leaving a significant legacy that shaped the world we live in today. During the 10th and 11th centuries, Europe lacked public libraries, while Moorish Spain could proudly boast of having more than 70 libraries, including the remarkable one in Cordova that housed hundreds of thousands of books. Not only that, but it was Moors who introduced a wide range of crops to Europe, including oranges, lemons, peaches, apricots, figs, sugarcane, dates, ginger, pomegranates, as well as cotton, silk, and rice. Many of these crops remain prominent products in Spain today. Even the Moors introduced magnificent palaces. Moorish rulers lived in grand palaces, in stark contrast to the monarchs of Germany, France, and England, who resided in large structures without windows or chimneys, with only a hole in the roof for smoke to escape. The introduction of paper and Arabic numerals in Europe was also done by the Moors. It's surprising to know that the Arabic numeral system had replaced the Roman system for some time. Prior to this, the Romans counted using alphabets instead of numbers. Even the modernity of Cordoba is attributed to the Moors. During its height, Cordoba, the heart of Moorish territory in Spain, stood as the most modern city in Europe. Its streets were well paved, with raised sidewalks for pedestrians. Even at night, 10 miles of streets were illuminated by lamps. These advancements in urban infrastructure preceded the presence of paved streets in Paris or street lamps in London by several centuries. Did you know that people had given a special name to the impeccable black armies and rulers called Moors? Do you think that the Moors were the most skilled warriors, archers, and fighters on the battlefield? Well, history tells us so. Let us know your opinions on the Moorish character of the black soldiers even today.
So yeah, I thought that was interesting, how Jake, just so advanced, and before their time, and this shows you that, Jake, without the GMOs, okay, the enchantments and the drugs, okay, and the madness of westernization, Jake is a very creative people, So you see the Moors, they had a lot of contributions, that they contributed to Europe because they were just ahead of the game, and the way that they built, as far as their medicine, universities, schools, books, it was an advanced, civilization, and it started, by, because you go back into the history of the Moors, all right, you had the Umayyad Caliphate, which was Ishmaelites, and this is why the Moors were Islamic, because they were mercenaries for the Umayyad Caliphate, and they was left, when they took down, Spain and Portugal, what is known as the Iberian Peninsula, the Umayyad Caliphate, they had other, regions, that they was conquering and ruling out of, and they pretty much left Jake as mercenaries, okay, to oversee Spain and Portugal. And what Jake do? They turned it to an empire, because Jake gonna be fruitful and multiply, and Jake gonna invent, and Jake gonna be creative, man. So I want to go from there. I want to get this, and then we'll go back into some precepts. So I want to get another quick video, because a lot of things, when you go into certain inventions, a lot of things that make life, convenient are inventions of Jake, So I'm gonna play a little bit of this. So I'll put this in the description as well, and hopefully I can post this on the on the historical breakdown channel as well. So yeah, this just going to a few Jake inventors, and we'll play a little bit of it, but not only the things that Jake was inventing, but you're going to see why Jake was inventing these things, and how they contribute to the convenience of modern day society.
Welcome to the part one of our series on the 100 Black inventions that changed the world. For too long, the media has ignored the achievements of Black inventors, making it seem like they weren't as smart or talented. In school, we learn about things like the light bulb, electricity, and other important discoveries from inventors like Thomas Edison, Nikola Tesla, Albert Einstein, and Benjamin Franklin. But we don't hear about the incredible inventions made by Black inventors. It's time to change that. Today, we embark on a journey to unearth a legacy that has long been ignored, a series that unveils the untold stories of 100 Black inventions that changed the world. These Black inventors, whose names have been shrouded in darkness, refuse to let their history hold them back. Their intelligence and resilience propelled them forward, defying the barriers of slavery, discrimination, and racism. In this episode, we're going to share their stories and tell you about the amazing things they invented that changed our lives. Before we get right into the video, please smash the like button and subscribe to the channel so you can catch all the parts in this series and keep informed of our eye-opening Black narrative. Number 100, three-light traffic light. The three-light traffic signal we see today has greatly improved our safety on the roads, but very few people know that the traffic signal was inspired by the invention of a Black person. The person behind this brilliant invention was Garrett Morgan, an African-American businessman and inventor. He lived in Cleveland, Ohio, and was the first Black person in the city to own a car. In 1922, he witnessed an accident between a horse-drawn carriage and a car, which inspired him to find a way to prevent such accidents in the future. At that time, police officers were responsible for directing traffic, but it was difficult for drivers to see them, and their signals were limited to just stop and go. This made it hard for drivers to navigate through traffic. So Morgan came up with a new idea. He invented a traffic signal that had folding arms with signs that said stop and go. The signal would be placed on a post above the road, making it easier for drivers to see. He also added a third position where the signal could be raised halfway, indicating caution. This was like the modern yellow signal that we see today. To operate the signal, a traffic attendant would turn a crank, raising the post and showing the appropriate sign. If necessary, the attendant could stop all lanes by showing the stop sign. Morgan's invention was patented in 1923, and he sold the rights to General Electric for $40,000. Number 99, home security system. The 1960s were one of the most dangerous times in American history, and for a Black woman whose husband was always working at odd hours, staying alone in her home at night left Marie Van Britten Brown feeling pretty vulnerable. Unfortunately, their neighborhood had a high crime rate, and Marie was concerned about the slow response time of the police. In response to this, Marie came up with the first home security system when she was 40 years old. Initially, their invention consisted of 4 small windows, a movable camera, TV screens, and microphones. The cameras could move from one window to another. These cameras were connected to TV screens inside Marie's home. By using the TV screens, Marie could see who was at her door without actually having to be there physically or open the door. The microphones were also important as they allowed Marie to communicate with the person outside without having to face them directly or open the door. Marie Van Britten Brown's invention of the home security system has had a significant impact on the security systems we have today. Her innovative idea paved the way for further developments and improvements in security systems that are still used today. Number 98, folding bed. In 1885, African-American inventor Sarah Good would create one of the most famous inventions designed for maximum comfort. Her patented folding bed would inspire the modern-day Murphy bed. Being a furniture store owner,
Amazon hates this, but there's nothing they can do to stop it. There's a new electric lighter out there, and it's got the firepower of a military-grade flamethrower.
She saw a business opportunity and made an audacious move. When Sarah Good heard about the problem of limited space in Chicago apartments, she wanted to help. She invented a bed that could fold up and be hidden, similar to the Murphy bed we know today. It was like a cabinet that could turn into a desk, with spaces for writing supplies. Sarah's goal was to make the bed easy to lift and keep in place when folded, and to provide extra support in the middle when unfolded. In 1885, Sarah Good became one of the first African-American women to get a patent for her invention of the folding bed. Number 97, protective mailbox. In October 27, 1891, Philip B. Downing was granted a patent that changed the mail system forever. That patent was for a street letterbox, essentially the mailbox we see all around the country, where you can post a letter any time of day. In the early 1800s, U.S. citizens posted and received their mail via a post office. People would need to travel far distances to visit their local post office for their mailing needs, so there was a need for a better, more convenient solution. Downing designed the mailbox that we all recognize today, a metal box with 4 legs. This invention changed the need to go to the post office in order to mail a letter. It included a hinged door that kept bad weather such as rain and snow from damaging the mail, and also a safety feature making the mail secure until it is picked up by postal employees. The Downing letterbox patent became the basis of the letterbox we have today. Number 96, blood banks. It's impossible to determine how many hundreds of thousands of people would have lost their lives without the contributions of African-American inventor Dr. Charles Drew. This physician, researcher, and surgeon revolutionized the understanding of blood plasma, leading to the invention of blood banks. During World War II, there was a great need for blood transfusions due to the large number of casualties, but there were challenges in transporting and preserving blood for long periods. Recognizing this problem, Drew focused his research on finding a solution. He developed a method to store and preserve plasma, which is a vital component of blood, separately from whole blood. This allowed plasma to be stored for longer periods without losing its life-saving properties. He also came up with the idea of blood banking, which involves collecting, testing, and storing blood so it can be used for transfusions when needed. Drew's work was a game changer. It not only helped save many lives during the war, but also paved the way for advancements in blood transfusion techniques. His ideas and innovations laid the foundation for the modern blood banking system that we rely on today. Number 95, refrigerated trucks. In the world of modern transportation and logistics, refrigerated trucks play a vital role in ensuring the safe and efficient delivery of perishable goods. Behind this groundbreaking invention stands an extraordinary mind, that of Frederick McKinley Jones, an African-American inventor whose innovative spirit transformed the way we transport and preserve temperature-sensitive items. In the late 1930s, Jones was approached by Joseph A. Numero, an entrepreneur in the cinema industry. Numero needed a way to transport perishable items like food and medicine without them spoiling during long trips. Recognizing Jones's skills, Numero asked for his help. Jones took on the challenge and came up with an ingenious solution, a portable cooling system that could be added to existing trucks. This transformed ordinary trucks into refrigerated vehicles, allowing perishable goods to be transported over long distances while keeping them fresh. Jones's invention had a significant impact on various industries, including food, pharmaceuticals, and healthcare. It made global trade easier by enabling the transportation of perishable goods to faraway markets. Number 94, automatic.
Yeah, so I just wanted to go into a little bit of that. And you see, not only when Jake invented things, but Jake was inventing things that solve critical needs for society. Like Jake wasn't inventing anything that harmed society. Now Esau used things to harm society. Esau take a lot of the inventions of Jake, weaponize it, because that's where his mind is at. That's the mindset of Esau, is to weaponize every goddamn thing. Okay. But a lot of inventions, Jake used, to solve critical problems in society, man. Showing you that Jake, in their natural state, okay, even, that they don't know the truth, but in their natural state, they're inventors, they're compassionate, because their inventions, was an act of compassion, man. You're able to get, now you're able to deliver, food in long distance. Certain states don't grow everything, but now, those states can get, those crops from other states, due to that refrigerated truck. That plays a major part on the economies, man. The stoplight, Jake seen an accident, and in his spirit, this something has to be done about this, man. Showing you that Jake is the rightful rulers of the earth, man. Okay. So I thought that was interesting, man. It's a lot more. We were just on 94, we going to 100, so it's a lot of things, that Jake invented, okay, that make life convenient, but here it is. You see Jake today, is looked at as a joke, and due to going back to, us becoming degenerate, all right, under these enchantments, okay. But the beautiful thing, the Lord has woken up a remnant, to who we really are. And you see us going back into that natural state, man. All right, well, you got, brothers and sisters really tapping in, to certain gifts, you know, and hey, being that wonderful people, made of the Lord. Now let's go here, all right, because you go into Daniel, the first chapter, all right. Um, when the Babylonians came, okay, there was a choice crop, okay, of Israelite men, all right. You say the choice young men, okay, because people think of slavery, they just think, everybody, was in the fields, okay, everybody, picking cotton and watermelon. Nah, man, you had certain jakes that were those the thinkers of societies, man, throughout history. Okay, so you go here into the Daniel 1:1. It says, in the 3rd year of the reign of Joachim, king of Judah, came Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, and Jerusalem, and besieged it. Okay, and it says, and the Lord gave Jehoiakim, king of Judah, into his hand with part of the vessels of the house of the Most High, which he carried into the land of Shinar to the house of his power, and he brought the vessels into the treasure house, okay, of his God. And the king spake unto Ashpenaz, the master of his eunuchs, that he should bring certain of the children of Israel, and of the king's seed, and of the princes. Okay, so these are, certain of the king's seed, which this was prophesied to Hezekiah that this will happen. All right, but this the point: children in whom was no blemish, but well favored and skillful in all wisdom and cunning and knowledge and understanding science, and such as had ability in them to stand in the king's palace, and whom they might teach the learning in the tongue of the Chaldeans, man. Okay, so there was an elite, okay, amongst, those captives, okay, that will come from the king's seed, because if you come from nobility, you was tutored, okay, in science, you was tutored in agriculture, okay, you was tutored in, engineering and carpentry and architecture, okay, you will be tutored in these things from your youth up, okay. So going here, because going back to Daniel, he was 17, when he was taken captive. Okay, but he was from that king lineage. He was from that noble. All right, he was from a noble house. Okay, so you go here. All right, but at the end of the day, the Lord made Israel a special people, man. Okay, and in any setting, Jake is always going to stand out. And that's why the devils knew. All right, they had to destroy the minds, okay, of Jake. All right, as they, went into, I say, the crack epidemic, and the music, to really destroy the minds of Jake, because they understood, like, Jake, just in their natural element, left alone, Jake gonna build, Jake gonna be creative, and Jake is naturally, compassionate, man, you know. So well, Jake has a capacity to organize, man. Okay, and that's what these devils fear. All right, now this is Exodus 35:30. It says, and Moses said unto the children of Israel, see, the Lord Yahweh Bashim Shah have called by name Bezalel, the son of Uriah, the son of Hur, the son of the tribe of Judah. It says, and he filled, all right, and he have filled him with the spirit of the Most High in wisdom and understanding and all knowledge and all manner of workmanship, and to devise curious works, to work in gold and in silver and in brass. And this was, when they was getting ready to make the garment, all right, for Aaron, the high priest garment for Aaron, which Aaron was decked out. Okay, Aaron was decked out, but before, they began to work on it, the Lord, pretty much put his spirit on certain men to be skillful, okay, in different manners of workmanship, okay. And it says, and in the cutting of stones to set them, and the carving of wood to make any manner of of cunning work, to make any manner of cunning work, man. Okay, and he have put in his heart, all right, and he have put it in his heart that they may teach both he and Ahaliab, the son of Asamach of the tribe of Dan, Then hath he filled, all right, it said, them hath he filled with wisdom of heart to work all manner of work of the engraver and of the cunning workman and of the embroiderer in blue and in purple and scarlet and in fine linen and in the weaver, even of them that do any work and of those that devise cunning work, man. So, the Lord always dealt with Jake, in a particular way. All right, that where Jake will be on another level, man. Okay. So even in our captivity, one thing about it, the Lord, all right, we were still the Lord's people. He left us with, that quality, man. And that's what Esau, has been attacking, since the 60s, the quality of person that Jake just naturally is, man. Okay. And it's turned our people to degenerates, man. But that's not who our people are in their natural state, you know. So let's get this, which this is the title of the lesson. So we'll get this and end it, you know. Yep, this is Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 5 and verse 1. Okay. It says, then shall the righteous man stand in great boldness before the face of such as have afflicted them and made no account of his labors, man. And this is what you see is in the office of the prophets, man. Okay, the ministry of the prophets, the Lord has raised up prophets in great boldness. Okay, they're standing before the face of such as have afflicted them and made no account of his labors, man. Okay, because you let Esau tell it. All right, our story started, okay, in the cotton fields. Okay, and even the adventures that Jake made, Jake is not getting, even since slavery, the adventures that Jake made, Jake doesn't get a credit for it, man. The only thing that he pushes when it comes to our people is degenerate behavior, man. You see, that's the only thing that he puts and markets to the world as a representation of us is degenerate behavior, man. Okay, man and woman. Okay. So when you go, verse 2, it says, when they see it, they shall be troubled with terrible fear, because in Esau's mind, he thought everyone was just going to be, a little Uzi Vert and a sexy red, man. He didn't expect, okay, the Lord to put that spirit of wisdom and understanding on his people, man. And that's what has happened with the Rakakodash, man. Okay. Hey, that understanding spirit is back on his people, man. And righteousness, man. Okay. And this is the biggest threat to Esau's infrastructure, is us being in right standing with our power. Okay. It's one thing for us to, to build and have economies and, be skillful men, when it comes to, labor and, engineering and economy. But, to be in one with our power, see, that's another level. Okay. That's a whole another level, man. And these devils are in terrible fear. It says, and shall be amazed at the strangeness of his salvation, so far beyond all that they look for, man. Because the way that we're going to be delivering those chariots, man, they're not expecting this, man. Because the world looks at us. Esau has painted a picture of us, it's just, niggas and hoes, deadbeat fathers, single mothers, that's the legacy we have on this side. Okay, some type of rapper, athlete at best. Okay, verse 3 says, and they repenting and groaning for anguish of spirit shall say within themselves, this was he whom we had sometimes in derision and a proverb of reproach. Yeah, a joke. Okay, Jake is looked at as a joke. Esau has painted, Jake to be a complete joke in the earth, man. Not even three-fifths of a human. Okay, the smallest, they say, you got the smallest brains and all this pseudoscience, false science he puts out there. Okay, see, he pushed the propaganda. There's certain jobs that Jake can't do. They don't have the brain capacity for certain jobs. Just all type of lies, man. Okay, and the masses eat it up. Okay, not knowing that, hey, we're that choice people, man. Okay, we're the most qualified people on the earth for everything, man. Okay, All right, men and women. It says, we fools accounted his life madness and his end to be without honor. How was he numbered among the children of the Most High, and how his lot among the saints? Okay, so yeah, man, it's gonna be, you know, a beautiful thing, man, to be those people counted out, okay, and looked at as a joke, you know, for the Lord to showcase, like, nah, these are my children, okay, to be changed like that to God's before these people, man, okay, spiritual power, you know, and come back to rule the earth in righteousness, man, you know, forever, you know. So yeah, that's just want to get into that. Thought that was interesting. Some things I was looking at, you know. So Lord will, you know, you brothers, you know, and you sisters edify once again. We'll give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Kakwadash, and double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS who rule well, teach well, being great examples of his younger brothers. And peace and blessings, salutations to the hopeful elect. Shalom.